Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, I'm going to say to you, and stay with me on this wouldn't have happened to you under Jeremy Corbyn. Sorry, I got to start again because right, let's go. This wouldn't have happened under Jeremy. I'm enjoying this far too much. This is the problem. I'm enjoying this, yeah, more than the big piece of chicken that you ate last night, right? More than your favourite holiday, right? When you went diving with sharks, you swam with sharks. Only little ones, baby sharks. You don't want to swim with a big shark because that would be stupid, right? I'm enjoying this, right? More than the time when your friend allowed you to drive their Ferrari. I think I might be able to start now. This wouldn't have happened to you under Jeremy Corbyn. Why the hell you people, right, have voted in a government who just like to abuse you all the time? Right? The Conservatives, the party of the working people. So they've decided what we're going to do, right, is we're going to bring in new laws so that we can get temporary workers to go and cross the picket line so they can go and run the train system. What? That's exactly what they're going to do. These people are some absolute piss takers, right? Rather than them say, you know what? Literally, we can still count it in weeks, right? How long ago we was out there clapping for them, right? Banging pots, beating drums, right? Man's licking wood on the side of their house. Sorry, that's an old sound system thing. All these type of things people are doing, making up a whole heap of noise. Whistle, phew, loud, right? We love you, right? We respect you, so you've kept the country running. Love you. And all of a sudden, right, when these people are saying, you know what, our conditions are not good. Conditions is not good, man, right? And plus, and furthermore, right, what they're trying to do is they're trying to force redundancies on 2,000, I think it's about 2,800 of them. Then we want, right, that's what we want to do. We want to slim it down, right? Because people, right, are not needed, right, on the rail system. You don't need people. What the hell do you need people for? Get rid of them. Right? Get rid of as much of them as possible. Right? Even though, right, for years, right, they have been happy to distribute the profits, right? And they're trying to make, Mick Lynch into the bad guy. His fault. It's all down to him. Right, look at him. He's making himself into a TV personality. Look at him. Right, and Mick Lynch just tell them straight. Yeah, the £500 million, yeah, that you people, right, split up amongst yourself last year. Because that's what they've done. There was £500 million in profits, right, to go round, and they took it and gave it to the shareholders. And now they're saying to the workers, you know something, yeah, you might run the system, and we might have been out, right, clapping for your ass and been happy to see you. But let me tell you this, when it comes down to it, we don't want to give you fuck all. There's nought in the pot for you. Nothing. Who the hell do you think you people are? Just get back on the fucking train system and get the shit running. Right? Or we're going to get temporary workers in, right, to come and cross your picket lines. I'm sure, right, that the nurses and, the doctors and, and the barristers, even the barristers are saying, you know what, we're coming out and strike in sympathy for the RMT. No, they're coming out because their conditions has been fucked over, right? You see, again, the barristers, right, we're all going to sit back and think, oh, good them, right, all driving in their flipping Porsches, right, or their extremely fat Mercedes, right, earning big bucks. But what they've done, right, is from since like the Tories have come in, right, they've come in and they've fucked over like the legal aid system, Do you know what I mean? I don't understand how the barristers really allowed them to get it to get it all through. Do you know what I mean? Because considering how much barristers there are, right, in the Houses of Parliament and the House of Lords, right, I don't know how they managed to get all this shit through, but they managed to get it through, which means that if you go to court and you haven't got no money, right, you might as well be a black American. You know what it's like in America for black people. For black people who don't have no money, and for white people who don't have no money in America, yeah, your ass is staying in prison. Your ass ain't moving. That's gonna be a lot, and they're trying to get that system over here so that they can, so you know, and if they can change it so that you know they have bail bondsmen and things like that. That's what they'll change the system to as well. So you literally have to have the money, right, before you can get bail, right? And they, you know, because remember, right, when they're trying to change, right, you know, when they're trying to change laws from like the European Court of Human Rights, right, all of these things, right, can be involved in all that shit. Right, so you know, so now we've got the barristers who are looking to, but you know, we're not gonna, you know, we're gonna look at the barristers and say, what the fuck are you? Not realising, right, the barristers are striking over how the legal aid system's been broken up. But they should have done it a long time ago. But that's what they're striking over now. I mean, obviously, they're going to take the opportunity because, you know, it looks like we're going to have other people coming out on strike as well. So if the barristers come out, right, obviously we've already got the two people out. We've already got two people. But you know, if all the barristers come out, yeah, they, you know, it's not really as if they can find, right, a lot of temporary barristers, right, to go and cross to go across the picket lines. Do you know what I mean? Right. So we're going to really find out, right, what is going on. But this country, right, for the government to turn around, right, and say, you know what, instead of are saying to the, you know, to the RMT workers, you know, what we're going to do is this, right? You know, we've offered you, you know, you want 7%, we've offered you 2% and then 1% if you, right, will agree to all of our conditions, because that's what where the other 1% comes in, where they say, well, you have to agree to all of our modernisation, which includes, yeah, getting rid of 2,800 and something of them, right? And you know, and so what they want them to do, they want them to work harder, work longer for less money, right? So they're saying, well, so the RMT are saying, no, that's not going to work for us, right? We want 7%. Right? But the government couldn't, you know, they couldn't be like, you know, they couldn't do like how maybe how the Scots done, because if you notice, right, no one said anything about the Scots, right? You know, we just all assumed, oh well, the whole system must be, you know, must be on strike. But oh no, the Scots, they sorted out their deal. The Scots, they, you know, they might, you know, they might start. I don't know if they started at 7% or whatever, right? But whether or not they did or not, right? Because they could have said, well, you know what, you know, because Nicola Sturgeon, right? You notice there was no involvement of her anywhere, which is surprising, because we normally if there's something going on in Scotland, we you know, Nicola Sturgeon pops up, but because, right, she sorted the shit out, right, long before, right, she just said, you know what, we'll offer you 4%, and the ScotRail workers was like, well, no, we've asked for 7, right, but we've gone away and we've had a good think about it, right? We've written on paper, we've pulled levers, we've pulled rope, right? We've pressed buttons, we've undone buttons, right? And we've pushed levers, and we've decided that we'll do it for you for 5%. And Sturgeon was like, sounds like a deal to me. So the ScotRail's gone back 5%. Our government could have quite easily probably cleared it up with 5%, but they want the fight, because that is who these people are. They're a car crash government, and they can only think that they can be successful, right, if they've got Britain, right, in the status of a car crash. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. The Taliban have asked for help and support, right, from the international community, right? And I think obviously, well, we should help them, clearly, straight away. I mean, but I think, you know, the international community should take the opportunity to say to the Taliban, listen, right, you know, if you want us to come and help you, then, you know, we have to talk about the conditions in the country, and how you expect women to be treated, because you can't be having women going around with their face covered, right? And and they're not allowed out unless they've got a fucking an adult male with them. Right? I don't think it's an adult male. I think it could be like a 12-year-old boy. Right, and a 40-year-old woman can't go out unless the 12-year-old boy says, you know what, come, let's go on the road, yeah. Right, so all those type of things. Allowing women to work, allowing women to be judges again. Allowing women to sit in the government. Um, allowing girls to go to school. Right, all of these things, they need to say, well, we will come and help you, but these are the type of things that needs to be sorted out in your country. So, and plus, right, they could take the opportunity, right, of putting a lot of much more aid workers into the country, so that they could not, and because these people need food, and without the earthquake they needed food and all those things distributed around the country. Right now, there's the country is so remote, right, that there's that they've got to go and pick up people by helicopter, and obviously we know that they're not going to have that many helicopters. America blew up about 70 helicopters when they left. I don't think it was the. I don't think it was the Black Hawks or whatever. I don't think it was those, because I think that those, right, you'd want to leave there so that the people who know how to fly them, right, would take them to places where you need to know where they're going, because believe me, all those Black Hawks the Americans left there, every single one of those can be tracked. Okay, wherever it goes in the world, it can be tracked, and they'll probably be able to see exactly what you're doing as well. There's probably cameras on there that you would never know where to find them, right? Because there's a lot of technology there, right? So we know they blew up a lot of helicopters, right, when the Americans left, but I'm sure it wasn't all the Black Hawks, because if they'd done that, that's just like the American people would be like, "Are you fucking serious?" Right? Because they cost a lot of money. Right, so yeah, so the Taliban, we need to we need to get in there and help them. Do you know what I mean? But we also need to get in there and start negotiating, so that the international community, right, can be welcomed into Afghanistan, because Afghanistan, probably could be a very beautiful, very beautiful country. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for the fact that over the past probably 100 years, right, Britain, America, Russia, and whoever else has turned the motherfucker into rubble. Jerry Hall and Rupert Murdoch are getting a divorce. And you think to yourself, I wonder what the hell it was, yeah, that Jerry Hall saw in the billionaire Rupert Murdoch. Don't know. Might be personality. Right? Because could you imagine if he was Rupert Murdoch, right, living in a maisonette in Bethnal Green? Would he pull a woman like Jerry Hall? Jerry Hall must have woke up one morning and thought to himself, what the hell am I doing with this old motherfucker? 90 motherfucking 1 years old. Right? I mean, what's Jerry Hall? She must be in her 60s. She must be in her 60s, I'm sure. Right? Because she was with Rod Stewart, isn't it? No, Mick Jagger. I always get my my old rockers mixed up. Right? Yeah, she's with Mick Jagger. I think they've got 4 kids with Mick Jagger. Right, but I'm quite sure, right, because but then again, yeah, for a man who's 91, right, you got to say that Rupert Murdoch, right, is doing really well. I know, I don't mean monetarily. I mean just for a man who's 91 years old. For a person, because he's got all his faculties about him. I mean, he's running the world still. Do you know what I mean? And he has been for the past 50 years or so, probably even longer than that. He's been running the world, right? So I don't know. I can understand why Jerry. And I wonder if she's going to get any part of the 15 bill, because that's what he's got. He's got a fortune of 15 billion, and she went in there as a millionairess, right? But she's not going to be like she was never minted in the way she's going to be now, right? Because if he never signed no prenup, and she just gets 7.5 bill, right? That would be quite nice for her, right? And it would probably be worth, right, I'm not even going to say the next part, but I'm going to let you imagine what I was going to say. Teachers will not be forgiven for striking, says Nazeem Zahawi. And more strikes again. And wasn't we out a little while ago, right? Out there for the teachers. Love you, Teach. We love you. Teach, come on, Teach. Right? You know, can you remember all the the ambulances and the police and the fire services are all on, like, what was it, Tower Bridge or Westminster Bridge or London Bridge, whichever bridge it was. They was all on there, right, with Dame Cressella Dick, right, up there. You know, she was just up there soaking up the atmosphere, right, like someone who just drive around in a Prius, right, smelling their own farts. And you know they do that shit, right? Because the people who drive the Prius, right, they think they're better than all of us. So these people, there's in those cars, right, smelling their own motherfucking fart and looking at us, and right, while we bust a fart in our car and we're busting the window. Ooh, that is stank. Them people in there smelling their own shit. Dame Cressida Dick, she was up there, you know, all these people was up there, right, while we was out banging pots and pans. And all the teachers now, right, are going to come out on strike because you know what? We don't give a shit about the working classes. We fight against each other all the time, right? That's how the Conservatives run their government, just by making us fight against each other. Right? You know, they've come up with, you know, they've got a new one now, obviously, like with inflation, right? Because what they're doing now is they're giving the pensioners an inflation busting rise, along with, I think people on benefits, so disabled people and people on benefits, they're giving them an inflation busting rise, right? Just so that now, right, they can have, right, you know, the young, right, against those motherfucking old bastard pensioners, right, fighting against them now, fighting against each other, right, in the same way they got black and white people scrapping it out, right, for hundreds of motherfucking years, so that these motherfuckers could stay in power all this time, right, and now the teachers, right, they're just about to start on the teachers. They're going to be saying to you, look at these fucking educators, right? All of them lefties. All of them. They're all lefties. Every last one of them are bloody lefties. And they're gonna make you stay at home, right, with your nasty little children, right, who you hate. You hate your children. That's why you send them to school every day, because you want to get rid of little bastards. That's what they're gonna say to you. Right? And they're going to put you against them in the same way that they're putting you against the RMT. Look at those motherfuckers. They won't allow you to go to work. It's their fault, not allow you to go to work. Right? And furthermore, right, it's all Labour's fault. Labour are behind all of this. All of this is political. Well, how they get away with this shit, I'm just curious, right, to know how they get away with this, right? But, you know, still, we're fighting the Rwanda plan. Right? We're going to send black and brown people to Rwanda. And right there, right, all the right-wing fools' ears just stick up and say, oh, well, let's forget about all the strikes for now. Right? Forget about the country falling apart. Right? Can we speak more about this Rwanda plan? That's how simple you people really is. Right? That's how they've got you there, right? And look, right? There's going to be strikes all over the place, right? Because the government want to have strikes all over the place. They think it's going to work out better for them because, you know, they've got two by-elections today, so they're going to look at see how this works out for them in these by-elections today, because they're looking at if they can blame Labour, right, and how they can do that. So, I mean, how they can just say, you know, oh yeah, well, it's their fault. Yeah, that's reminiscent of you walking into a shop, right? And you're walking, side by side with someone who you don't know, right? They steal something, and then security guard, right, comes and grabs you as well. And says it was you. You put them up to it. What? I don't even know this motherfucker. What do you mean put him up to it? Yes, you two are in it together. Put him up to it. I just, I'm just, I don't know how, right? Well, I do know how. I do know how. And it's because you people are a bunch of stupid racists. That's what the problem is, right? That's what the whole problem is in this country. And they sell you, they sold you this, right? They sold you this government, right? And they have destroyed the country, right? Everything, everything in this country right now, right, is in crisis. Now, wherever you look, airports, yeah, food, food exports and imports, lorry drivers, NHS, ambulances. I mean, it's all, everything is in crisis. £2. Last night I paid. This is the most I've ever paid. It was £1.98. Right, and my petrol station, the closest one to me, has been £1 £1.91. Right, which is fucking high in the first place. Right, and £1.98 I paid last night. That's what it's gone up to. Now we got a 5p a litre reduction. Which is literally weeks ago. 5p a litre reduction. Right, that went up, right, from 191 to 198. And the price was already at 191. The price was already very high. Right, so even taking a 5p a litre, right, which would have been helpful if the fuel prices was probably where it's supposed to be. I mean, the Americans are paying half of what we pay. So 5p a litre would have been helpful, right, if it was, the Americans are paying, they're paying probably around $1, just under $1, yeah, a litre, because they're paying $5 for a gallon. So if that's the case, right, if ours was supposed to be, right, that would have taken it down to probably about 93 pence a litre, probably where it's supposed to be. But the people of this country have voted for this, and they vote for this bullshit all the time. And this wouldn't have happened under Jeremy Corbyn. I wonder how much it hurts. That's what I say. And today we've got the second day of the rail strike. The RMT are out again because Grant Shapps has accused them of lying their little heads off, right? And I wonder who's lying their heads off, right, in the whole situation, right? Because Grant Shapps, right, is deliberately not dealing with this situation, right? They've sent out letters. They've sent out letters to these guys to basically dismissal letters, because that's the route they're going down. They'd prefer to go down that route than to say, you know what, why don't we just try making an offer to these guys so we can make sure that the country keeps running, right? Rather than saying, you know what, we're going to go a completely different way around, and we're going to get temporary workers in to come and disrupt the whole system, thus paying out a whole heap more money than the whole thing should have costed in the first place. Right? Why they're allowed to get away with this, I don't know. Right? But I will tell you this wouldn't have been happening under Jeremy Corbyn, because he would have just sorted out these people. There would have been no need for any strikes. He just said, okay, well, we're going to sort these people out to have so make sure that they have a decent wage. Right? As I heard the Green Party MP talking a Green Party must be one of the candidates for probably trying to go for a seat somewhere. But when you hear those people speak, I know right, that's where I'll be voting for my next vote. Right, I'm not going to vote. I can't vote for because we can see, yeah, that their type of capitalism has failed. Right, that's what's happened here. It's failed, their type of capitalism. Right, capitalism, right, it works in a society, yeah, but there are certain things that you can't hand over to the capitalist, and if you give those things over to the capitalist, right, then your country's always going to crash, right, which is what has happened in the United Kingdom. Right, they've given over everything, right, all of our everything that we need for a standard life, not for a fucking luxury life, for a standard life. Capitalism comes in when you're starting going for your luxury stuff, right? The only one of the utilities that should be in the hands of capitalists is your motherfucking telephone, right? You shouldn't have gas, water, electric, right, in the hands of capitalists. Right? All they want to do is make money. Right? Those things, right, need to stay where they are. They're social services. Right? Water, gas, water, and electric. Traveling up and down the country on a train. That's all social services. Just along with like education and your healthcare. It's all social services. When you start giving all that shit to capitalists, right, that is when you start making the major problems, right? Even down to petrol, right, and diesel. Right, the government should be the people who are supplying that shit. Right, they should be the people who are going to fucking Saudi Arabia and buying the barrels, right, and bringing them back to their own refineries in this country and sorting the shit out. Right. That's who should be doing it, right? But this country, they want to run this country as if it's some type of business, and you see where that has got us, right? How has that gone for us? Right, it's gone so fucking badly, right, that people were so pissed off with how the system was that they thought, you know what, we're going to vote in someone who has told us they're going to level us up. Right, falling for the whole heap of nonsense, right? While you've got the person saying to you, I'll tell you what, right, we're going to go after the correct people, right, and we're going to redistribute the wealth. Jeremy Corbyn, this shit wouldn't be happening to you under Jeremy Corbyn. You always need to remember that, right? When it's too late now because, Keir Starmer is another capitalist. Right, and he's gonna carry on with their capitalist system. Whereas what we need a left-wing politician who's going to come in, right, and to take back all of those utilities, right, to make sure that even you're just domestic housing, right, your housing for your working class and your poor, that shouldn't be in the hands of capitalists. Right, let them deal with the middle classes. Let them build luxury homes for the middle classes. But the government should be actively making sure that that the poor and the working classes, right, have always got somewhere that they can call home. But no, all of these things have been sold off, right, into basically into the private sector, so into the hands of capitalists. Right, which is why you can rent an ex-council house, right, for £1,500 a month, right, while the house next door to you is still in the hands of the council, and those people are paying £625. I don't know if that system, right, works in other countries, right, but I'll tell you this, right, I can't see, right, other governments, right, allowing that type of shit to go. Just in the way how you see other governments treating their people, I just can't see that they would do shit like that. But we allow it because our country, right, is backed up with a whole heap of fucking racist fools. Dominic Raab said that £600 per household, yeah, went into the transport system to keep that shit going, right, throughout the pandemic, right, and those workers, right, should feel bloody happy about that because it was us, right, with our £600 per household, right, that went into the transport system to keep it going. Someone should have said, no, Dominic Raab, what you'd find is £600 per household went into the private motherfucking companies. Right? Because, if it was being run, fully, if the whole system was being run fully by the government, right, there would have been no need for there to be £600 per household, because, right, the transport system would have been flooded in billions of pounds in their bank accounts, after they've got a system that is running absolutely beautiful with new trains every couple of years, right? But all of the money that is made in the transport system goes into private hands, so they can go and buy themselves yachts, Bentleys, and big fuck off houses. That's where the money goes. But Dominic Raab says £600 per household has gone into transport system, so they should know their place, right, and get the motherfucker back to work, right, with the new conditions that fuck them up. Boris Johnson says people that have a problem with black and brown people being sent to Rwanda should stop putting Rwanda down. They're taking the piss out of the country by saying that. They say it's a horrible thing to say. I say might be much more of a horrible thing to do. I just wish we could send Boris Johnson. If only we could send Boris Johnson to Rwanda, we'd probably be a lot better off, right, with the person who runs Rwanda running this motherfucker over here. This time, at this moment, right, we'd probably settle for Kermit the Frog, another one of Boris Johnson's heroes. And some Brexit news, some news about Brexit. And we have a Brexit bonus. We will soon be able to buy bottles of wine in plastic bottles. What if that's like a Coca-Cola style, like 2 litre, or maybe the 1.5, or maybe the 500ml, so you can be on the bus swigging wine from the bottle. It's a plastic bottle, isn't it? So it's not like you've got a glass bottle on there. So the bus driver says, "You no glass bottles, please, mate. You might take that and bust somebody's head with it." The Brexit bonus, and that is straight from Jacob Rees-Mogg. And I would say, yeah, that maybe leaving the EU. I don't know, right, but was it worth it, right, for cheap wine in a plastic bottle? I don't think I put Blue Nun. I mean, if they're putting Blue Nun in a plastic bottle, then I'm all in. Has anyone ever drunk Blue Nun? I'm sure that must be like mouthwash. So we've got to balance that story. We've got to balance that story with these now. There are urgent calls for hero dogs that went to the Ukraine not to be charged £75 in taxes. I suppose most species will be brought back to this country or to be taken somewhere across Europe. They want to charge those hero dogs £75, right? But you know what? We have cheap wine in plastic bottles. How is that screw top? Because you can't put a thing on a plastic bottle, can you? You can't put like one of them where you have to thing the cap off with a opener, with one of those opener things. Like, I'm sure you can't put that on a plastic bottle, can you? So it's probably a twist top. So there's the balance. The dogs, the heroes. The dogs are heroes, right? Or rotten food in the fields. But we've got temp, but we got plastic wine. So that sounds shitty. Plastic wine. We got plastic wine bottles, right? Against rotten food in the fields. Maybe this might be the downsides of Brexit. Rotten foods in the fields. Because remember a couple of weeks ago we had the mountain of beetroot, and I was just like, well, to be honest, I can't really help with that, right? Because unfortunately, right, beetroot is not in my daily diet, weekly, monthly. It's in my yearly. At some stage every year I think to myself, ooh, I haven't had my beetroot. And then I just go and get one and just boil that shit. And then I always remember why the motherfucker don't have that shit. Because it turns everything purple. Everything is purple. And then we've got a surge in inflation. I wonder if that's going to make the plastic wine bottles more expensive. That could do that. That could make the plastic wine bottles more expensive. The surge in inflation, because Boris Johnson has kicked the motherfucking shit out of the fucking pound. The pound has been buggered. Right? A big ass sweaty man came into a room and said to the pound, "Hey, you pound, bend over." Pound's been fucked. That's what's happened to the pound. Right? The pound is on its face. Right? Right? Heads down, the pound is. The Queen's face is pressing into the flow. But we've got plastic bottles, right, with wine coming soon. The British fishermen are facing ruin. But they voted for it. So I have no sympathy for them. In fact, I say, you fucking smelly motherfuckers, this shit serves you right. And the reason why it happens to you is because you smell. That's what happened to you. And you're stupid ass smelly racist. Smelly racists, they are. Right? Because they voted right for their own demise. The British fishermen said, you know what? I'm going to bet my whole life on red or black. And say, and you know something? Because we hate blacks, we're going to put it all on red. Never ever bet against black. But they did. They bet against black. And what happens to them? Now their industry is in the toilet, literally, because their waters are being flooded with sewage. Their industry is in the toilet because of their vote. Right? So I say to the fishermen, right, who the British fishing industry facing ruin, that serves you fools right. I'm laughing at you, you fishy motherfucking smelly fools. What's this? UK meltdown. Oh, a shortage of lorry drivers. So who the hell, right, is going to bring in the cheap bottles of plastic wine? The cheap plastic bottles of wine. Who the hell is going to bring them in if we've got a shortage of lorry drivers? There's got lorry drivers all around Europe are like, I ain't going to that racist motherfucking island to go and work. Right? It's stink of fishermen, right, whose life is in ruins. So I don't want to go pick up their stuff. That's what the fishermen are saying. That's what the lorry drivers are saying. I don't know. I don't know. But that's what they're saying, right? Because no one wants to come to this shit to come and work in this shit, right? Lorry drivers are just like, I'm going to go there. Right? We're going to go there and go sit in the fucking, in lines and lines of queues, right? At Dover. You're sick, right? I've got better things to do. And, UK airports are in meltdown, and we've all seen the effects of that. We've seen the baggage situation, right, at places like Heathrow and Gatwick, right? We've seen queues, we've seen them, right, ban reporters from airports. We've seen people, right, queuing underneath King's Cross and St Pancras. I'm enjoying this far too much. And this is not, and this is, I'm finding this problem now because I'm just enjoying this far too much. And then roaming charges are back. So just work out which one of them we're going to put against, right, us having wine in plastic bottles with a twist lid. Anyway, look guys, I've gone well over my time. Well over my time. This, my friends, is by any means necessary. I'm GMC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.